To another big issue this week in Washington. President Bush's stamp on the Supreme Court crystal clear, a 5-4 decision. The court, for the first time since Roe v. Wade, upheld a ban on a specific abortion procedure. We saw in the Senate immediate reaction.
I'm delighted that the Supreme Court is moving forward to see the expression of life in the Constitution.
The threat on reproductive freedom is no longer theoretical. Today, it is very real.
George Will, the last time this issue came up, the Nebraska ban, it was a 5-4 decision. Sandra Day O'Connor voted to strike down the ban. She's gone. Sam Alito is in. 5-4 decision to uphold it. But is this decision as momentous as partisans on both sides say?
No. I think a lot of the anger, alarm, celebration even is synthetic on both sides, because this is a great fundraising tool to keep people at a rolling boil. I don't think this will prevent a single abortion in this country, because one of the reasons...
Justice Ginsburg said in her dissent.
Precisely, because this is an alternative method.
And why did they do it?
Well, why did they overturn it?
Yeah.
Because this is called deferring to the legislative branch. Their large bipartisan majorities passed that ban.
Except, George is right, President Bush is putting his stamp on the court, but it was not his justice. It was Anthony Kennedy, who in the 2000 decision had voted the other way. Yes, Sandra Day O'Connor might have made a difference too, but he's the one who changed his mind and said, in effect, we justices know more about...
He didn't change his vote.
He didn't change
He
his
said
vote?
there is a material difference in the way the laws are written.
Well, that's true, but he said that more justices know about medical procedures than doctors. That's ridiculous.
Well, I think that George is right, that the fundraising opportunities and the electioneering opportunities are great here. For Dianne Feinstein to say, you know, the threat is there is a very good thing for the Democrats to go on the road with and to go out for the next election. And it is significant for the court to have made this decision. But I do think that it was very foolish for the pro-choice forces to make this fight. This was a...
Well, this wasn't a fight they chose.
Well,
this was one foisted upon them.
But there they were, and they got it as far as the courts, and they didn't need to do that. And the fact of the matter is that this is a particularly grisly form of abortion. It forces everyone to pay attention to all forms of abortion. And it was something that, as George pointed out, majorities of both parties voted for. And it becomes something that, you know, you get, you find yourself in an extreme position.
It's an extreme position, perhaps, but those who support a woman's right to choose say the principle is important. If you don't have an exception for the health of the mother...
But people say the same thing about, you know, cop-killer bullets, and it's the same problem.
Well, except in this case, it's the doctors who are saying sometimes you need this exception.
That's why they had to make the fight, because of the exception for the health of the mother. If you start down that road, why not make that kind of exception, doesn't matter, in other cases, in other reasons? This is the first time a procedure has been
And
abolished.
Justice Kennedy's opinion, I found, frankly, offensive as a woman.
A little paternalistic?
But I'm just saying that, you know, women would be protected from regrets later in life. You know, there are lots of moral decisions people make all through their lives where they regret them. And the idea that the court is going to stop that for women is something that I think is just offensive.
We're in this mess, in a way, because Justice Blackmun, when he wrote the opinion in Roe v. Wade, discovered something constitutionally and morally profound in the fact that the number of months in the gestation of a human infant is 9, and that's divisible by 3.
Right.
So we wound up with first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester with different rights of the state and the individual in those. Let me ask you a question. What would our constitutional law look like if the number of months in the gestation of a human infant were a prime number? Suppose it were 11.
I never understood prime numbers.
Well, it's a number divisible by 1 in itself. The question is, if it was 11, you couldn't have these completely artificial
also,
gradations.
Of course, the science has changed in the time period since Roe v. Wade.
Cokie, you and I remember when this show had an ad run by GE, 4D ultrasound, Roberta Flack singing in the background, "The first time ever I saw your face." And the GE said, "The first time you see your baby." Didn't say your fetal material.
Well, and
that's
just
a baby.
Keep in mind, very recently there was all this celebration over a baby who came home from the hospital having been born at, what, 21 weeks or something? And so we're talking about two things happening at the same time.
Viability is a moving target.
Right.
And you think technology is going to take care of this problem before the court has to address Roe v. Wade?
I think technology is going to sensitize us to the fact that that's a baby, and the culture will change, and the number of abortions, particularly late-term abortions, which are fewer than 90% anyway, I mean fewer than 10% anyway, will decline.
That's all we have time for today. Thank